Have you ever tried to change a habit? You know, the kind of habit that, well, you've decided it's a bad idea. You've seen negative results from having participated in this habit, and yet every time you try to change the habit, it lasts for a couple of days, and then whoosh, there you go, right back to the old habit. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I remember when we first moved to the neighborhood that we lived in, and it's been years ago, almost 15 years ago, but when we first moved to this neighborhood, there were like 200 houses here. That was it. And so, because I drive my car backwards into the driveway every day, I would roll out of the driveway, I would turn left, I would go half a block to the stoplight, I would turn left, I would go half a block, stop sign, I would go half a block to another stop sign, I would turn right, I would go 2 blocks to the main highway and turn left, and I was on the highway in like 90 seconds, and it was nothing. Boop, 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 turns, and I'm on the highway, and I'm on my way to work, and it's only 19 miles, and it's easy peasy. But over a period of the first 5 or 6 years that we lived here, those 200 houses became 2,000 plus houses. And then the community grew so far and so fast, we had to put an elementary school in the community. Well, suddenly we have crosswalks and school zones and people with stop signs and buses everywhere and children everywhere. And now when I drive out of my driveway and I turn to the left, there's 47 stops between me and the stop sign and 15 other cars in front of me when I get to the stop sign. And then when I turn to go to the next one, there's a crosswalk with a crossing guard and a little sign and then another stop sign. And then when I turn to the right, there's another crossing guard and another stop sign before I get to the light, before I get to the highway. It's been 10 or 12 minutes. But unfortunately, it's a habit. I've been doing it so long. I get in the car, I pull out of the driveway, I turn left, and then I realize, oh man, I got 15 cars behind me and 15 cars in front of me. I can't even make a U-turn. But if I went to the right, I could make a quick right, a quick left, a quick left, a quick right, and cut through the speedway where there's no school zones, there's no red lights, there's no stop signs, and pop out on the highway 8 miles further away. But that's not my habit. My habit is to do what I've always done, or at least done for the last several years, right? I would challenge you, if we were in an audience, to raise your hand and acknowledge how often you find yourself doing something out of habit and then wondering, oh, why did I do that? Because you know you've experienced the negative results that are going to come from that habit. Maybe it's trying to break a habit of smoking or vaping. Maybe it's a habit of trying to walk away from the chocolate bar. Maybe it's just a habit of getting back in the gym. See, the challenge is, for most of us anyway, the humans of us, most of us, all of us, is that what we do in our physical body, our daily routines even, while we can change or modify our behavior, the real transformation happens deep in our psyche. Deep, deep, deep down in what we believe about ourselves. And so you might hear someone say, for an example, I'm going to lose weight. Yet when they look in the mirror, when they talk to themselves, the words they say are, well, I'm fat and unlovable. And because that's what they believe about themselves, that's the story they tell themselves and others. And that story has more power than the choice to physically do something different. So our behaviors can eventually bring about modification. We can, over 21 days, break one habit, and over the next 21 days, create another habit. And by the 63rd day, actually find that we have replaced one habit with another. But if we don't, in the process of doing that, change the way we talk to ourselves, then the story has more power in our life than the behavior. And we will find that we revert back to it. We will go right back to what we've always done before, because what we do is who we are. What we do is who we are, which means we are first. We are being before doing. And our being is informed by our story power. more than it is by our behavior. If you really want to see change and transformation in your life, change the story you tell yourself, change the story you tell other people about you, change the story you allow others to tell about you. One quick example of that, Zig Ziglar, in his book, See You at the Top, tells a story about how, as a young grandfather, he would always tell his granddaughter, just call me fat man. Just call me fat man. And then he had an encounter with a doctor one day who said, if you don't begin to lose some weight, you're going to have problems with your blood pressure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he realized part of my challenge is not just the things that I eat and the lack of exercise, but it's a direct relationship to the way that I see myself, the story I tell myself, and what I allow others to say to me. My granddaughter wasn't trying to make me fat, but she was reinforcing the belief that I had deep down inside that I was a fat man and that would always be that way. And no matter how hard I tried, until I changed that story, I couldn't lose weight. Go find it for yourself. Read it about Zig Ziglar. You'll find it. Or ask his son, Tom. You're going to find that even in your own life, there are behaviors you've tried to change and you've had no success because what you believe inside and the story that comes out of your mouth are not the same. They don't resonate with each other. If you really want to see change in your life, change your story. And if you don't know how to change your story, come to the Story Power Workshop. I'd love to work with you on that. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.